अभी देखो आता क्या? अभी देखो आता क्या? अभी आ रहा है? Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thanks. You can hear me also?
Yes.
Oh, great. That means that charging is taking place. Charging is taking place. Then no problem. यहाँ पे और एक ये रखो बुक। ये नहीं दूसरा लाओ। अरे यहाँ से लो ना उत्तम। और एक अंदर से लो, कोई भी बुक लो एक। रखो। Yes. Yeah. Yes. Now, hopefully, you understood the fact necessary to explain the fact in the light of judgment of Nur Muhammad case and the case of Rahan Emperor. Now, the next is introductory facts. The second limb is a fact necessary to introduce a fact in issue which are relevant. Now, to this here, I am giving you certain judgment here. Introductory fact means it is practically impossible in conducting a suit or proceeding to jump directly to the main fact. A judge seeks for some introductory matter, just as one hearing the main incident of a story would like to know the circumstances leading to the result and following. So, introduction of a relevant fact is therefore important and supplying the missing link. See, without introduction, you cannot give it here. Are you able to hear me, all of you? Hello, Ashish?
Yes, sir. So sir, but we lose your visibility when you come forward to the screen. Then your face gets covered.
I'm going a little far off. Okay, this is
Okay, sir.
fine.
This is fine, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Now see this. Now the for proving introductory facts, I am giving you judgment of Hunt versus Swanee, AIR 1933 Privy Council, page number 854. देखो Hunt, HUNT Hunt, Hunt versus Swanee. You found it? Are you able to lay your hand? Otherwise, I can give the facts of the case.
Yes, sir. Please give. I can't find it.
Yes.
It's coming up
Here,
too many results.
yeah, here the action was brought by one Hunt, who is the of executor of the will of one of the shops against the defendant Swanee. Swanee is the defendant and Hunt is the plaintiff. Now, the suit was filed to compel him to convey certain lands alleged to have been held in trust for the plaintiff, testator, and setting out the facts relied on. Then Mrs. Sharp, the widow, intervened in the suit, claiming that the defendant held the land in trust for her and claiming the rent and the mean profits, setting out that the defendant, who was her husband's law clerk, so he was a law clerk, he was acting in a fiduciary capacity as a trustee, and he is bound and liable to return to her the entire amount of rent and profits which he has collected. Now, yeah, when she was in the witness box, when Sharp was in the witness box, asked during the a question was asked during the year 1881, relevant period, down including the month of so and so, was Mr. Swanee the defendant in his action, your agent in the rent for you? So a question was directly put to him that were you also in the office of Mr. Swaney during that period. Now, to this question, an objection was raised that it was inadmissible on the ground that whether my employment was there in that particular year is not relevant, whether at the moment I am only accountable for the period after his death. Now, the objection was overruled on the ground that it was an introductory fact. So, in the cross-examination, the cross-examiner is giving a longer rope to find out the truth of the matter, to extract admission that you acted in a capacity as his law clerk, mostly in a fiduciary capacity, subsequently as the trustee, and as such, you are knowing fully well that the testator wanted to give property to his wife. You are supposed to do that. So that was the fact. That was the evidence relating to introduction of a introductory fact. Now the next is a fact which support and fact which rebut inferences. Item number 3, you are allowed to lead evidence, collateral evidence, supporting certain facts and rebutting certain inferences. Now here, there are certain classes of facts which are neither relevant as fact at issue or relevant fact, but either they support the inference suggested by the fact in issue or relevant fact. In this connection, Ashish, I would like to also give you your example of your matter. Now, in the cases, for example, in the cases for proving mean profits or rateable value of a property in the city of Bombay, Calcutta, Madras, and Bombay, you know that this proceeding take place. For example, you have filed a suit for eviction of your tenant on the ground of subletting. He was evicted. Then he is liable to pay you mean profit. Now, what should be the court passes a decree in your favor? Then the court also makes an order that inquiry under Order 20, Rule 12C be held in the matter. That means your valuer has to give a report with regard to what is the prevailing market rent or mean profit. So for that purpose, you will appoint a valuer, you will appoint an architect who will determine the age of the building, the location of the building, and the area of the building, the feasibility, marketability, and what are the adjoining properties fetching particular rent. So for introduction of those facts, you will be examining, you will be leading the report of your architect, your valuer, that the value of my property is situated in a prime location at, say, Cuff Parade. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Churchgate station is close by. Hospitals are close by. It's a posh area in the city of Mumbai. See, the market rate in this locality is 1,50,000 rupees per square feet, ranging from zone. The adjoining building, certain flats were sold last month, about 2 months ago. I had the rental agreement from the parties showing that the rent has been shown. So you are leading a comparative evidence. That evidence is allowed call. You are supporting a particular fact, and your opponent will be leading evidence to rebut that fact. He will examine his own architect to show that the contention raised by him for inquiry under Order 20, Rule 12C for determining the mean profits, the court you are not an expert. Your evidence may not be accepted. The evidence of an expert such as the valuer, the estate agent in the locality. The estate agent will say that I have sold the property for so and so rate. So the court will take into consideration all these facts. So the plaintiff or defendant cannot take up the plea. Why should we allow the evidence in respect of other building? That will be allowed under Section 9. If you see the illustration, that is the facts which support or facts which rebut. Evidence, when you see the illustration, facts which rebut inference suggested by the fact in issue, fact which otherwise says so. Is that clear to you? Anybody want to ask any question on this? Ashish, your matter is exactly like this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you know that you have allowed. Those who are not understood, please ask me the question. I will explain them. So under section 9, you are allowed to, when a suit is pending in a civil court or a criminal court, you are allowed to lead evidence not only in respect of the suit premises, but also in respect of the adjoining premises for determination of the market value of the rent. What is the best rent available in the market? What is the best consideration you can receive? So evidence of your building, you may be living in a building, Atlanta building, वहाँ पे दूसरी और building, there are many express towers, so and so building. The court will take into consideration the value of those places. You may say that we are similarly placed. They both were constructed in the same year. When that property can fetch you 1,50,000 and the defendant contention I should be paid only 70,000 is irrelevant. So you can lead evidence.
So there is no way to rebut that evidence, sir.
You can rebut it by leading by examining your architect. You have to examine the another architect to prove that fact. You say that you take up the plea. I have taken inspection in the municipal corporation, collector's office, and I also examine the analogy derived by the architect of the plaintiff is not correct. According to my assessment, I am a seasoned valuer having a standing of more than 30-40 years. I have submitted several reports, runs into several hundreds or thousands. In my opinion, it cannot be so. So you can lead. It's ultimately for the court to decide which evidence should be accepted. The court
Yes, sir.
should
Sir,
decide.
do people get bogus architects to give bad evaluations, give false
Then
rebuttals?
see, it is the duty of the court to disengage the truth from the falsehood, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
It is the duty of the court to remove the chaff from the grain.
Yes, sir.
Falseness in omnibus theory will apply करें. The best part of the evidence will be used and the bad part of the evidence will be eliminated. Right now?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Anybody has any question, please?
Sir, this is Rusi.
जी, बोलिए.
I wanted to know, sir, whether this is applicable for tenants who are tenants of the trust building, who are the beneficiaries of the trust. Will Mesne profit be applicable to tenants of the trust building?
Which trust?
To tenants who are residing in a building of a trust, and they are the beneficiaries basically of the trust.
See, the beneficiaries are owners of the property. This is basically applicable to any eviction of a tenant and unlawful occupant, and not to the beneficiaries. Mean profit is payable by whom? Under section 2 definition of the Code of Civil Procedure Code, आपने पढ़े हैं, it is a amount which actual market rent which fetches you a person in illegal occupation makes it, isn't it? So whether as a beneficiary, I'm sure you are not in illegal occupation.
That's right.
A tenant upon determination of a tenancy, his occupation becomes illegal. A licensee upon termination of a license agreement, he becomes an unlawful occupant, isn't it? A gratuitous licensee is an unlawful occupant upon the filing of the suit. Under section 41 of the Presidency Small Cause Court Act, section 33 of the Bombay Rent Act, and section 52 of the Easement Act, these are the sections which are covered dealing with the unlawful occupant, and Article 65 of the Limitation Act relating to trespass suit. Somebody who has trespassed your suit, he cannot be occupying and enjoying free of charges. He is not your beneficiary. He is bound and liable to pay. Even if as a co-owner, suppose your brother, you are in America, your other brother is making money, letting out the premises, he is bound and liable to pay you mean profit. Isn't it? He is illegally making profits. So somebody making profits illegally. Okay.
Right, sir. Got it.
Yes. Next is yeah, another judgment I will try and give you on this introductory fact के ऊपर. Yeah, that is the fact supporting uh, one of the case which is a English case. Uh, R versus Egester. It's one of the English cases. I do not know whether you have it or not. It may be there in your net. Uh, uh, it may be there in the word. I'll just give a fact. Here, the prisoner was charged with, in this case, the prisoner was charged with robbing the complainant of a court by threatening the accused, by threatening to accuse him of unnatural crimes. तो उसका कोर्ट छीन लिया उसने, and he said that if you don't give me a court, I will involve you in a criminal cases. And evidence was tried to adduce to the effect that on the following night, he was attempting to rob another person of his coat. I mean, he was similarly trying to do the similar trick with other crime. The fact that the accused was trying to rob another man was not an issue in the present case. But the fact was allowed only because it supported the inference that the man must have committed robbery on the date in question. So the man must have committed, he must have involved in the commission of 2-3 crimes. I mean, a commission of a crime committed in Bombay, commission of a crime committed at Thane, Kalyan, elsewhere. A similar crime is repeated. But when he sought to be tried in Mumbai, where he is involved in a crime against B, B can lead evidence that he had repeated similar crime in Kalyan and Thane, where the matter is pending. So though the matter is not an issue before that court, but the court can draw inference that the modus operandi adopted his man is similar and he the person who has done the act. So that you are drawing inference to provide clinching evidence before the court, like it's a hypothesis. The court can draw inferences in a circumstantial evidence to strengthen the evidence that such a crime has been committed. Then you have another case of Emperor versus Wahiduddin case, AIR 1930, Bombay, page number 157. It may be there. Here, men were charged with committing of a dacoity. Evidence to show that prior to dacoity, the accused was closely associated with the approver is relevant as supporting the statement of the approver that conspiracy to commit dacoity existed. So this is again an evidence sought to be led to prove the fact before the court in the matter. Okay? Then the case which I gave you of arriving letting value of a building, evidence afforded by a return of accepted assessment of the neighboring premises admissible in Bombay. For determination of a rateable value, in the city of Bombay, the municipal corporation is charging and big amount of rent. Section 154 of the Bombay Municipal Corporation Act makes a provision what should be the rateable value of your building. Old building, new building, there's a comparative procedure. Now letting value is in on the valuation. Now evidence can be led. Suppose if your building is being charged 1 lakh rupee per year, you can show that adjoining building they are charging only 60,000. So such an issue came up before the Corporation of Calcutta versus Province of Bengal in AIR 1940, Calcutta, page number 47. And in Bombay also, such matters are tried by the principal judge, Small Causes Court, Bombay, when the rateable value you want to challenge it. Please note that. Then appeal lies to this High Court, the first appeal in the matter here. So you are entitled to lead evidence in respect of other building to show that here the rateable value cannot be higher. Okay. Then the next is fact establishing the identity of anything or person. This is very important. That the identification, you know that when the accused is sought to be tried here, you have to establish the identity of a person. Without establishing the identity of a person, you cannot prosecute him. Now in India, we have got, under the CRPC and Evidence Act, formally there were no provision. Now, of course, in the CRPC, when you see that here, the CRPC has been amended. Section 54A has been added. Can you please see that section 54A? Ashitra calling you.
Yes, sir. Hold on.
सेक्शन 54A खोल लीजिए आप.
Sir, it's open.
Section 54A CRPC check करें आप. Now this was introduced for the first time in the year 2005 with effect from 26th of June 2006. It came into force. It says identification of person arrested. Where a person is arrested on a charge of committing an offense and his identification by another person, or the person is considered necessary for the purposes of investigation of such offense, the evidence of the court having jurisdiction may, on the request of the officer in charge of a police station, direct the person so arrested to subject himself to identification by any person or person in such manner as the court may deem fit. Then provided that if a person identifying the person arrested is mentally, physically disabled, such person of identification shall take place under the supervision of a judicial magistrate who shall take appropriate steps to ensure such a person identify the person arrested and method the person is comfortable. Then the proviso says that here the person identifying person arrested is mentally, physically disabled, identification shall be videographed. Now under section 164 CRPC, videography must be done when you are identifying a person who is disabled person. Now, when you open section, even sexual crimes, when you open section 64, even sexual crimes, 164A भी check करो आप, medical examination of the victim of rape. It is now mandatory. पहले तो नहीं हो रहा था. उससे पहले 164 के अंदर if you see the first proviso after subsection 5A, videography is made compulsory now. Where the statement, where the mentally disabled person के बारे में देखो आप, section 164, the first proviso and the second proviso speaks of mentally ill person के बारे में, and उससे पहले videography is of sexual offences के बारे में भी लिखा गया. So make a note of all these sections. These are all being amended from time to time. These are recent ones. So 164A, medical examination of a rape victim is important, like the identification of the arrested person, which normally a public prosecutor makes an application to the court or a police officer makes an application to the magistrate. Now, उससे पहले there's a old identification of parade, identification of prisoners act of 1920. Ashish, if you can open this, I'll be grateful. Identification of persons act
It's open,
1920 खोलिए.
Acha, oh sorry, okay.
Identification of persons, identification of prisoners, Identification of Prisoners Act of 1920 is a old act under which have been able to open it. मिल गया ना आपको?
हाँ sir, it's open.
There are merely 4, 5, 6 sections. We know that here. Here the magistrate has power to direct the police, direct the accused person to give his measurement, his height, This is for identification purposes. Okay, now Section 9 of the Indian Penal Code, way back in the year 1872, has proposed this year. That is how you are allowed to lead evidence. That is establishing the identity of person. Yes. Yes. I am coming to the some of the judgment.
So, if I may take 5 seconds. So
Okay,
when we are
sure.
starting this act, it says Maharashtra in subsection after the words and letters in Part B states insert the words other than the Hyderabad area of the state of Maharashtra.
Which one? Which
So
section?
when you're starting the act in section 1, it says in subsection 2 after the words and letters in Part B states insert the words other than the Hyderabad area of the state of Maharashtra. How will you have the Hyderabad area in the state of Maharashtra, sir? I'm confused. What is it trying to say?
That was C.P. Berar was under the Nizam of Hyderabad. You know that?
Yes, sir. But in
Nagpur,
70,
the Nagpur C.P. Berar area was a underling, and it was a earlier ruled by the Nizam of Hyderabad. They were governed under the
okay,
C.P. Berar Act.
okay, sir. So, but
Now
that
it
it
is
will,
a part of state of Maharashtra. Now Nizam, because after the independence of India, all the Nawabs and Raja Maharajas merge here. So similarly, this, but the old C.P. Berar Act were in force, but they have
okay,
not amended these acts. They should have
okay,
amended it. Unfortunately, the government is state government or central government not very keen about it. Okay.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. So for establishing now facts for establishing the identity of person. Now this section does not deal with the testimonial identity, but the circumstantial evidence of the identity are dealt under section 9. So when a party's identity with ascertain, here normally with a view to see a person deposing what is the height of a accused, size, hair, complexion, the voice, handwriting, dress, distinctive codes are explained. Then test identification parade सुने आपने? Have you heard this? Test
Yes, sir.
identification parade.
Yes, sir.
So under the provisions of section 54A, read with section 9 of the Indian Evidence Act, and the provisions of the Identification of Prisoners Act of 1920, the evidence can be led to show that suppose a robbery has been committed by 6 people in the night about 11 baje, 12 baje, when many people were sleeping and would not know the faces of the accused person. And in such a situation, the identity of the accused becomes impossible, isn't it? The police has arrested. You cannot prosecute a wrong person. Now, with a view to identify, the police has to hold test identification parade. When nobody has seen it, of course, when the witnesses have seen the accused person and they know about his condition, the whereabouts, test identification becomes immaterial. When the accused persons are strangers, their identity is not known to anybody. And in such a scenario, it is become necessary to hold test identification parade. Now, in what cases they are necessary? Identification parade necessity. Just I'll give you the reason here. Now, some of the cases I will discuss that will throw light here. In Ahmad bin Salman versus State of Andhra Pradesh, that is judgment AIR 1992 Supreme Court, page number 1617. Ahmad bin Salman versus State of Andhra Pradesh, AIR 1999, page number 1617. Here the police asked the witnesses to be whether he could identify the person who were on the scooter and who knew and who knew the bomb toward, and who threw the bomb toward the deceased. So some people on the scooter, 1 or 2 people or 3 people, उन्होंने bomb फेंका. किसके ऊपर फेंका? How फेंका? We don't know. The witnesses replied in the affirmative. The accused person was shown to him for identification, and he identified them. It was held not to be test identification parade. When accused person identified, there is no question of holding. When you say you are not sure of the accused person, what the police do here, a bomb has thrown by 2 people in the scooter. When the witnesses have not seen who they were, they will bring about 10 people and make them stand in a line of a similar stature. Bolenge somebody 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 foot, whatever may be. So they will mix and mingle several types of person. So the witnesses should be able to pinpoint who they actually were. Similarly, in the writing cases or robbery cases, where there are several people involved in the matter, you cannot be prosecuting everybody unless you point out the persons who actually participated. So at least somebody must have seen it here. If there were 10 participants, instead of 10, 30 people are made to stand in a line and witnesses are told to identify. बताओ इसमें किसने राइट किया, किसने बॉम्ब फेंका. So it becomes difficult, but the people who are seen, they will be able to identify. So where the eyewitnesses cannot give the name of the offender and claims he can identify them, necessary to hold identification parade as held by the Supreme Court in Lashminder Singh versus State of Punjab in the year 2003 Supreme Court, page number 2577. So identification parade becomes necessary when you cannot see. Then credibility of the identification. Now, what is the credibility of the identification parade? See, whether 2 accused persons of murdering a woman were arrested on different dates from different places, and there were no evidence on record. There is no evidence on record who has committed the offense. Then they were identified by a child of 13 years, 13-year-old child who saw the incident. There was no evidence on record that the child witness had the opportunity to see and study the features of the accused between the arrested person. Then identification parade to enable the tutor identify. The Supreme Court said that you cannot hold identification parade to tutor witnesses when somebody has not seen the witnesses, and it is not fair. At least something you have seen, his hand, आपने उसका मुंह देखा, चेहरा देखा, आंख देखे, पैंट देखे, what shirt he was wearing, what pant he was wearing, they can even depose before the court and tell the police officer. Then on that basis, you can hold identification parade.
Sir, quick question, sir. But tutoring of witnesses is highly recommended, no, sir, or no?
Not at all. Tutoring of the witness is not at all allowed.
But it is said that the lawyer should train your witness before you send him in.
Training him to the facts of the case. Tutoring me not to feed him the wrong fact, not to commit conspiracy. To feed what? To train him what to say before the court.
Okay, sir.
Because the statement made in the plaint are not evidence. The statement made to the police officer are not evidence.
So how will you distinguish between the two if you are the opposing counsel, whether it is trained or tutored?
Tutoring means to say something which you have not seen. Something happened?
Yes, sir.
Training means reminding a person what you have seen and say that way. Refreshing his memory. Something happened?
Yes, sir. But sir, as the opposing counsel, how will you know the difference, sir?
That is how it is. Yes. Yeah. Then, let us see what is the object of the identification parade.
Siddharth. Sir, may I interrupt for a minute? Siddharth, I will answer your question. There is a small technique where you can make out that the witness is telling lie or what. If you ask him a question and he looks at his right side, means he turns his eyeball to right side. That means he is trying to recollect what others have told to him. And if he turns his to his left, so he is trying to recollect from his own data. That is the psychological aspect of this. So you can make out if he is trying to recollect or he is trying to uh,
Yes,
memorize.
sir, but what Pramila is saying, sir, is completely correct. But, sir, only a body language expert would know the details that Pramila is saying. So, not
Yes, so
everybody in the court will know that this has happened.
we
Like,
as lawyers
we go on the
also should know all these techniques because these are going to help us in cross examination and during the trial. So we should learn this also. Since knew this,
What was the
I
query? I was
answered this
just.
question. But
What is the
sir
query?
will definitely agree with this, right, sir?
So this was regarding differentiating between training and tutoring. How do you find it out whether the witness has been trained or tutored? So for that, Pramila was telling a
A
basic.
tutored witness is always looking at his counsel to can feed the answer.
Yes, of course.
Uh,
Yes.
Whereas a
He will
natural
fumble
witness
at
will be
times.
deposing on his own.
Yes.
A
Yes.
natural witness will be deposing on his own. So, a witness, if he keeps on looking at his counsel here and there, the court will be drawing inferences against him. बोलते ना demeanor of the witness, and
Yes, sir.
his advocate cannot give him any hints, isn't it?
Yes, sir. But sir, Pramila was saying that if somebody looks at the right side, then they're not right, and if they're looking at the left side, then they're right. Do the judges look at all of those things too?
The judge will, yes, the judge will point out, what are you doing? You cannot do that. The judge is watching the demeanor of the witness.
So just by moving the eyeballs, the judge will catch that and say that the witness is lying.
That you can tell the court.
Overall, he
That
will
you can
look
draw
at
the attention of
things,
the
no?
court that the witness is not truthworthy, trustworthy witness.
Yes.
The question, he is not a reliable witness.
His full conversation and his full body language, his conduct,
Yes.
everything will be considered and
Yeah, that is very
counted.
important. The demeanor of the
Not only
witness is
eyeball.
very important. Okay.
Yes.
It's just like corroborating
Yes,
his
yes.
Yeah.
Then
So even
photograph
leading
shown to the
questions
witness
would be
before
that way
hand.
also, right? Sorry.
Yeah. So on the identification, then see that during this identity, then identity of the physical features of the witness is very important. The age, the size, the height, the hair, the complexion are instances that provide material for providing the identity of a person. The other physical mark, such as blindness, lameness, any other things, their identity. So these evidence you are allowed to lead before the court of law. The accused is, these are the things which explain section 9. Then one of the cases, I'll give you an example. There's a Rajesh Govind Jagnesh versus State of Maharashtra. AIR 2000 Supreme Court page number 160. Here the accused was stated to be having beard and long hair and was described in the FIR. FIR was required to be clean shaven by the police, but not a person similar to the description of the accused and included in the test identification parade. So FIR के अंदर लिखा कि he is having beard and court में is appearing as a clean shaven man. The court held that prosecution required to show how, under what circumstances, the complainant and the witnesses came to recognize the accused person. So the identity of the accused is very important. So you cannot give in the first information report one description of the accused that he is a bearded man, he is having a long beard, long hair, and he is appearing in the test identification parade differently. So explanation, evidence must be led to explain those facts. Then identity by voice and a gait. Voice and gait mean the manner of walking. It is not safe to rely upon the identification of a person by voice alone. That is what the court said, that it is not possible to recognize a person without mistake by gait. I mean, how he walks, whether he is a crippled person, whether he is walking slowly, whether he is running fast. In some cases, it has been held that in certain circumstances, the identification by voice is reliable. But the Tripura High Court, in the one of the cases I'll give you, which went to the Supreme Court, it held that here, well-acquainted person can be correctly recognized by voice and face and talk. That is what the Tripura's case in Jamshir Ali versus State of Tripura, AIR 1954, page number 11. If you can open, Ashish will be okay. Find it. Jamshir Ali versus JMSHR. Jamshir Ali versus State of Tripura, page number 1954 Tripura, page number 11. Then इसके अंदर ये follow कर लीजिए आप. Then the Supreme Court in the case of Dalbir Singh versus State of Haryana, which is a judgment reported in AIR 2008, page number 2389, accepted the testimony evidence based on gait, mean walking style, and the voice as the accused as related to the accused person. So this is the ratio now laid down. The identity and the gait of the person can be accepted. Otherwise, formally there were conflicting opinion of various different high courts in that regard. Then they can be identity.
So, quick question. What happens when there are conflicting opinions of different high courts? Then how do you present the case and what ratio the court takes into consideration, sir?
If there are conflicting opinion, the high court judge before whom you are arguing, he will decide the best opinion, what according to me is right. He is not bound by anybody's opinion. He may formulate his own opinion until the matter goes to Supreme Court. A Supreme Court judgment is binding. That is the ratio decident is binding under Article 141 of the Constitution of India. Whereas the obeter dicta, the passing observation of other court, they merely have persuasive value. They are not binding. समझे ना आप?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes. Then we have under the identification, then we have identification by fingerprints. You know that when Aadhaar card you took it, the fingerprints were taken. So the accepted conclusion of science is that several fixed and typical varieties of ridges of fingertips clearly distinguishable, and a chance to individual bearing the same combination among. An identity of finger marks is the strongest evidence of a person, and such evidence is admissible. Now Aadhaar has been held to be correct. The Aadhaar के अंदर सबके fingerprint ले गए, आपके भी लिए मेरे भी लिए. Okay. Then the identity of foot marks.
So what happens in cases like, I found this out during Aadhaar, that once you are older, you don't have fingerprints that they can collect. So then how does it work? So if the criminal is slightly older in nature, you will not have any fingerprints.
The court will see the other corroborative evidence. If it is not only they are depending on one evidence, then the identity of foot mark is important. No, evidence of a tracker is admissible if proved that the footprints in question are identical to the footprints of the accused person. Isn't it? The accused came in a muddy land, uske footprint pad jayenge. Isn't it? The footprint evidence is admissible under section 7. Padhe humne abhi, kal hi padhe the aapne. Then tire marks where a motorcycle allegedly have been used for committing the offense of a murder is recovered. The prosecution has to prove that the tire marks found at a place of occurrence were of the motorcycle used by the accused person, and marks were lifted here and a place of occurrence. So the motorcycle was recovered and tested. So that is one of the case which went to Supreme Court. That is Varun Chaudhary versus State of Rajasthan, AIR 2011 Supreme Court, page number 72. So the tire marks of a motorcycle were regarded as good piece of evidence for the purpose of identification, and the accused was convicted on the ground. Then you have evidence of a sniffer dog, isn't it? Sniffer dog, the loyal dog of master. One of the such matters which came up for consideration before the Supreme Court is that is the Abdul Razak versus State of Maharashtra before the Supreme Court. That is 6972 BLR, page number 646. See that when you open 72 BLR, Bombay Law Reporter, page number 646. The party's name is Abdul Razak versus State of Maharashtra. Here, the Supreme Court held that evidence of a dog track is admissible, but ordinarily it is not of much weight. Then in another case, that is a Lashmi Manraju versus State of Andhra Pradesh, that is AIR 2000 Supreme Court, page number 2672. In this case, the Supreme Court held that evidence of a sniffer dog or its master is the first among them, then the possibility of misunderstanding between the dog and the master close to his heel. So the police dogs are engaged in this action, whereas instinct so and so. The sniffer dog's evidence also come into play before the court. Then, so these are the facts. Then the next limb is facts which fix the time or place of the fact in issue or relevant fact. See, item number 6 is item number 6 in the section 9 is evidence can be led with regard to facts which fix the time or place of the fact in relevant fact. Now under this, for this example, I'm giving illustration, some illustration we covered, 1 or 2 judgments I'm giving you. Now under this section, necessary to fix the time and place of the occurrence of the relevant. The fact of time or place become very important when the accused pleads alibi. The alibi is pleaded under section 11 of the Evidence Act. I will take you through maybe in my lecture tomorrow. Alibi. The question is whether murder of A was committed by B. It must be proved by what time. A was murdered because it is necessary that B must be present near A at the time of the murder. If the time and place of the murder is not known, it cannot be said that B was murdered. If A is murdered at Allahabad at 10 a.m. on 3rd October in the year 1950 and proved that B was at Calcutta at the 10 a.m. on the same day, B cannot have murdered. So he takes up the plea of alibi. So the timing shown in the FIR that so-and-so time and so-and-so year, the offense was committed. So the accused successfully led evidence to show that I was not in Allahabad at the time, I was in Calcutta. So the evidence relating to Calcutta may not be important, but it's an important evidence to show the timing and to take up the plea that I was not there. So a wrong person is sought to be prosecuted. So similarly, under the Indian Contract Act, when you enter into a contract, a time is the essence of a contract, isn't it? For a breach of contract, for claiming damages, you booked a flat with a builder in the city of Mumbai or Calcutta, Madras to deliver a flat. The builder tells you the payment must be paid in so-and-so installment. 1, 2, 3, first plane, second plane, third plane, when commencement certificate, when OC is given, so-and-so. So time is the essence of a contract. So you did not abide by the time, the agreement is terminated. So the builder will take up the plea that the frustration of a contract. He did not comply with the agreement in time. So evidence can be led to show that this is the time it should have been done, and I sold the flat to XYZ, that party. That is how in civil cases. Then another question. The question in Bhim Singh versus State of Haryana, the judgment reported in AIR 2003 Supreme Court, page number 393. Here the question was, at the time of the death, time was variation in evidence. Evidence of prosecution witness was sought to be corroborated by stomach content of the deceased as found in post-mortem report. The piece of evidence can be relied as conclusive evidence in the absence of there being evidence that the deceased had the last meal when the deceased went to answer the call of nature. So the time factor is very important in this matter. Then time के बारे में, yes. Identity, then I will give you the last example. Identity हो गया. Yes. Then the last limb is here. Fact showing relationships. Fact showing relationship of the parties by whom facts were transacted are relevant. So, वो illustration से ही clear हो गया आपको how the relationships were shown between the parties. That is illustration B. Illustration B is the example. Illustration B says that here, again I will repeat for the sake of repetition. A sues B for libel, imputing disgraceful conduct to A. B affirms that the matter allegedly to be libelous in true. The position and relation, underline this, the position and relation of the parties at the time when the label was published may be relevant for introductory to the facts in issue. So similarly, the case of M.J. Akbar's case, when defamation was filed, he took up the plea. I am a very respectable person. She has defamed me. She wrote articles across him. He had advances with several women. She quoted 3-4 persons, and she examined. She had the audacity to examine 3-4 ladies in the court. She says that here he is a man with no reputation. Isn't it? And he has sexual relationship with several women, and many women are scared to speak about it. So when he filed a suit for defamation under the provisions of section 501, 502, 34, she took a bold stand. The truth is my defense. So one of the explanations clearly tells you that here she came in the mischief, and the magistrate accepted. She explained the relationship in which she stood at the time when she joined his office and when she resigned from the office. So evidence was introduced before the court, which is fitting exactly in illustration B, which says that here you are allowed to lead evidence with regard to the to show relationship between the parties as to facts which was transacted, which are relevant. So 7 types of evidence you are allowed to lead in
Yes,
section 9. It
So
is
what
very,
should-
very crucial and important, both in civil and criminal cases. Bataiye, anybody has any question?
Sir, what should MJ Akbar have done? How should he have approached the case?
Who?
MJ Akbar.
He should not have filed the case only. he should have been a wise man and not to file it. Chup chop. Silence is gold. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Silence is gold. If I were his counsel, I would have advised him, keep quiet. Silence is gold. Chup baito.
Yes, sir.
This all dust will be cleared soon. There is no need to uh, instigate her anybody else. Very unfortunate.
Yes, sir.
But of course, he's a very brilliant editor and articulate person. But of course, it doesn't give him license to commit such offences. But unfortunately, it came in the open. Time कितना हो गया आशीष अभी?
8:15, sir.
I think बहुत हो गया आज के लिए, isn't it?
So whatever you say, sir. So we can meet tomorrow, sir.
Yeah, anybody want to ask any question, बताइए. We can take question answer session, and we can, if you want, we can take one more section. So this is clear, ना? Section 9.
Yes, sir.
Section 10 भी cover कर लेता हूँ, because
Yes,
section
sir.
10
I
is
think
relating.
Ava had a question that
Yes,
that
Ava,
we-
पूछिए. Yes, Ava, what is your question?
Sir, when a witness who is extremely crucial to the case, when he is not exactly telling the truth, can the court order a lie detector test or a truth test against that person?
See, under the provisions of the Indian Evidence Act, when you open, the court
But
has, the judge has wide power, section 165. Judges power to put question order protection. A judge may, in order to discover or to obtain proper proof of relevant fact, ask any question he pleases in any form, at any time, of any witnesses, of any parties, about any fact, relevant or irrelevant, and may order the protection of any document or thing, and neither party nor the agent shall be entitled to make any such objection to any such question or order, nor without the leave of the court to cross-examine witnesses. What a wide power the judge has been given. The judge can certainly has power to ask for lie detector test. Definitely, the court is given ample powers to ask any question to any witness, relevant or irrelevant. See, as a party, plaintiff or defendant, public prosecutor or a defense counsel, you can only ask questions which are relevant to the issue or lead evidence which are on the fact in issue or relevant fact as stated in section 5 to 55 and not beyond. Irrelevant questions you are not allowed to lead, but the judge has power under 165 to ask even questions which are irrelevant. Ask him to produce document may not be connected, but the proviso says the judgment of the judge must be pronounced on the facts declared to be relevant and dutiful. That is the only thing. The court will marshal the entire record. Relevant evidence, irrelevant evidence, relevant document, irrelevant document. वो सब छाटने के बाद, marshalling of the facts cogently, ultimately he has to pass the decree or judgment based upon facts which are declared by this act to be relevant and duly proved. Relevant under section 6 से लेकर 55, and duly proved mean if there are documents which are brought on record, they should be exhibited. They are admitted by the parties, not admitted, passing appropriate orders with regard to admissibility, not admissibility under section 136 after giving an opportunity to both the parties. What are your objection? The A has produced a document. You are admitting it or not admitting it? Both CPC and CRPC cover this regime, and section 136 of the Indian Evidence Act is very clear and cogent. That is the final nail that the judge passes the order.
Sir,
Ji,
may I request?
Thank you, sir.
क्या बोले?
Sir, may I request to take one session on DPC, and can you please help us to solve last year's papers with your guidance?
Okay, ले लो. Next वही करेंगे अभी. Evidence Act से बोर हो गए अभी.
No, sir.
No, sir. We have to do Evidence Act, and sir, you had promised 3-4
Okay,
lectures
दोनों
on.
भी करेंगे.
Sir,
Okay.
So you had promised 3-4 lectures on arbitration and your personal experience with some of the most
Yeah.
prestigious arbitration cases that
I will
Bombay has
deal
seen
with. I will
recently, sir.
take one lecture on arbitration. Introduction to the arbitration, entire act will khatam karenge. It's not a very big act, and it's quite easier. Of course, it's flooded with so many judgments. We will not deal with all the judgment. Relevant judgment
Sir,
deal
it
karenge.
won't take much time, sir.
Okay, I will deal with it.
Much
No
time,
problem.
हाँ नहीं नहीं
DPC
DPC भी करेंगे. I'm saying that DPC भी
DPC.
करेंगे sir. लेकिन I'm just saying we have to do arbitration
You are
also.
not
Sir had
heard my
promised.
lecture to the government law college student DPC lecture सुने नहीं आपने?
हाँ sir वो सुना था sir. That was very nice sir. So
That
we
is
wanted.
of a general nature. So
Yes,
you
sir,
get
we
your
want
question
part
paper. आशीष एक काम करो.
हाँ sir.
अब आशीष एक काम करो. आप लोग ये question paper लाइए. हाँ?
Sir वो question paper मिलता नहीं है sir because it's a
We have question paper. We
I
have
have
Siddharth,
question
we
paper.
have.
तो मुझे भी
अच्छा.
भेजवा दीजिए. So I will
Okay.
Yes.
next lecture maybe I will take it on a Tuesday, Monday का दिन, because maybe
Yes,
Monday
sir.
or
Yes, sir.
Tuesday.
Somebody has posted the last previous year's paper. We will forward it to you.
Please forward to me. मेरे को email पे भेजो और WhatsApp पे भेज दीजिए. Send on a group.
Yes.
Everybody will come to know. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes,
तो
sir.
भेज दीजिए. तो आज
Sir.
के लिए मैं भी थक गया हूँ. I'll go for a walk.
Okay sir.
Oh.
Sir no
I
lecture
can
tomorrow sir.
enjoy the cool weather of Lonavala.
Yes sir.
Sir,
Yes sir.
sir, you
No
are at
no
your
lecture
farmhouse.
tomorrow.
You are at farmhouse now.
No, not in the farmhouse. My bungalow. Farmhouse is at the Raigad in Mangaon, where there is no connectivity, which is more beautiful. But Lonavala is a bungalow. I got a small place here. I come
Okay.
once in a month to come and sleep. So Bombay में guys सोने का मौका नहीं मिलता.
Yes.
Bombay में I'm
After
I'm working.
examination, we would like to visit your farmhouse at
Yeah,
Tribal.
all of you welcome. चलो एक दिन जाएंगे. Program after your exams you make it. Let Corona subside.
Yes.
All of you decided we'll
Let's pray.
make a trip. Of course, after your exams.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Sir no lecture tomorrow sir.
Ji,
Tomorrow no lecture.
tomorrow you want?
Yes sir. Lockdown sir. Your lecture we have something to look forward to
ठीक
sir.
है,
Otherwise.
tomorrow DPC ले लेता हूँ DPC. Okay?
Okay
Okay,
sir.
sir. Fine,
Tomorrow
fine.
evening DPC ले लेंगे. Subject to one of my conference, Mr. Vishal Bradwaj, the film producer, has approached me for a matter. I will be having a live meeting with him tomorrow. I will just inform you what is the timing. Maybe.
At your convenience, sir. At your convenience. Anytime we'll do.
Okay. कल शाम में रख लेंगे. Because I will be leaving tomorrow from Mumbai, provided the police is allowing me. Are the vehicles are running in Mumbai?
Not
Yes,
in
Yes,
this
sir.
not in this area sir. This area is
So
pretty
in
quiet.
Kolaba they're running, sir.
Private vehicles are running, no?
Kolaba, yes, sir.
Yes, Kolaba. Even I believe the express highway, the Bombay-Pune express highway, the private vehicles are allowed to run. So tomorrow morning I'll have breakfast here, I'll leave and come back to Mumbai. Okay,
Yes,
then
sir. Yes.
I got some work.
Sir, do you have a logo
tomorrow we'll take
on your
up on
car?
DPC. DPC
Sir, do
question
you
paper
have
भेजो
a
मेरे यहाँ पे.
advocate's logo on your car?
जी?
Do you have an advocate's logo on your car?
I have it. I have an advocate.
They won't stop you, sir. Then
I have the advocate Supreme Court का भी इसका logo है उसके अंदर. Nothing to worry.
police will not stop you. Then
नहीं, normally no, because I appeared for many police officers free of
Yes.
charge.
Yes.
They know that.
Generally they don't stop. To
I have
advocates.
argued the matters of many police officers free of charge. So they will recognize me. I have taken lectures for the police academy also.
Oh.
They may not. The police is Maharashtra police is very considerate.
Instead, they will escort you, sir. Then.
Okay.